Hello friends and welcome. Today we are going to be talking about the Courier a little bit. And by a little bit, it's probably going to be actually much longer than I anticipate. So this is something that many high level players do, and it's hard to see it happen because it happens really quickly. And so if you're not looking for it, and even if you are looking for it, it can be really hard to notice. So today we're going to be talking about using these hotkeys and shift queuing commands for your Courier to do a variety of things. So if you already know what all these abilities do, you can skip to the next part. And if you already use these hotkeys along with shift queuing around, then you're done. Bye. See you. You're good. You're good to go. But for everyone else, let's get into it. So before even talking about these, let's actually talk about assigning it some hotkeys. So if you want to assign unique hotkeys, come over here, go to Courier, and then you can use whatever buttons you want. A good recommendation in general is just to use whatever your abilities are, but feel free to set it up however you want. My only recommendation is there are a couple things you should avoid using as hotkeys, and it is that it can't overlap with a couple things. So like, for example, select hero is mouse 5. So when I press mouse 5, I come to my hero. If I'm selecting this tower and I press mouse 5, I select tree and protector. If you were to assign one of these buttons to be mouse 5, then it overrides whatever else. So like when you're using the Courier, if I press mouse 5 and I put it to speed burst, it would keep trying to use speed burst, and there would be no way to select my own hero besides to like manually click it up here or to like come find my hero and then highlight it. Now when I press like mouse 5 again, it's back to the hero, but that is just something to consider. And there's a couple other overlapping commands as well, such as the stop command, the patrol command, things like that. So keep that in mind. Any control groups. There's a... Let's go. Let me show you. Courier, deliver items, whatever you have this bound to. That I also recommend not overlapping with any of the hotkeys you use for your Courier. But from there, you're probably good to go. Now, if you don't want to use the Courier specifically, so for example, if you press the Courier, all of these are pretty much everything the Courier can do. But you can also bind them separately, such as this Courier Deliver Items hotkey, or the Courier Burst and Courier Shield. The reason you would do that is so that if you're playing Tree and Protector, or whoever, you're doing something, and suddenly you want your items brought to you, if you use the Courier commands, you have to select the Courier, and then use the ensuing commands. I don't know why I said ensuring. You have to use those commands that way, which means you have to select the Courier for a little bit, press buttons. That might be fine, but if you don't want to do that, you could just press something, whatever you have it bound to. Like for me, it's Alt 5, and then that leaves me in complete control of my hero, but would still issue the Courier commands. And same if you put like Shield Burst on, or I'm sorry, the Shield or the Speed Burst. So in the middle of a team fight, you don't want to lose control of your hero. You could press those and protect your Courier or whatever. So that is that. Now let's actually break down these abilities. So, retrieve items is a little bit confusing. By default, Q actually just sends your Courier home, or your first ability, whatever you assign it to. The only time it actually retrieves any items is if you have an item in your stash. And at this point, when you press Q, your Courier will grab the item and bring it to you. However, once it's selected the item and has picked it up, if you were to press Q again at this point, it actually just goes home now. It doesn't bring the item to you. So it's only when you have an item in your stash and you press Q that the Courier will come out to you. Otherwise, Q just sends him home. And even when he's like holding things here, you press Q, he just keeps trying to come back to his home spot there. Now we're going to skip ahead real quick and talk about transfer items. So if you press, he's got a couple items on him. If you press transfer items now, he will bring your items to you. And if you stop him here, you press transfer items, he will try to bring whatever he's currently holding to you. That means even if you pick up, oops, there you go. If you pick up something in your stash, if I were to press Q, let's move him out a little further. If I were to press Q, he goes home to try to pick up this item and then bring it to me. But he's right next to me, like maybe we're out on the map somewhere, and he's so close to me, I want him to give me the items he's holding right now and then go back. In that case, I need to use transfer items to bring it to me like so. And then when he goes back, you can press Q and he'll come again. If you try to use this button here, whatever you have it bound to, mine says 5, but it's actually Alt 5. If you try to use this and there's an item in stash, he will try to go home and then pick up the item and then bring it to you. So for that reason, you may need to use this, and that can be that can save you some time, especially when you're out on the map and you're trying to buy like other things. W, go to secret shop. Pretty straightforward. You press it, he goes to shop. Oh, by the way, if the courier's not holding anything and you press transfer items, he goes home. Same with this return items. Like, multiple commands send him home, but I just use Q by default. So W sends the courier to the secret shop. There's no way to make it go to the enemy secret shop. So if you're Radiant, it always comes up to here. If you're Dire, it always goes over here. If you want it to go to the other one, you have to command it yourself, and you have to send it over. Now, once here, you can't press W again. Like, this is just what it does. W is one feature, and it's to come to this spot right here. Once you say buy an item, let's get a vitality booster, for example. Now that's on the courier. If you press Q, it will send the courier home here. If you press retrieve items, whatever you have it bound to. Retrieve items sends this courier home. If you press transfer items, it will bring it directly to you. So let me move out further so you can tell. You can see he's kind of following me this way. But if I were to press Q, he starts going to the fountain. 3, Q, he's going to different locations. Now, if you press E, return items, what he'll do is that he'll come home and he'll put whatever he's holding back into your stash. Why would you want that? It is kind of a niche use, but the reason that might prove useful is that, say you have him coming and you're like, bring these things to me. And then you're like, oh, actually I changed my mind. If you want to sell some stuff real quick, it can be easier to do like this from your stash while you're still controlling your hero and doing things because you're in the lane, versus, oh, I want to sell this vitality booster. I have to select my courier, right click down here, sell, and then select my hero again. And in the meantime, my hero can't really be doing anything. I can't issue him commands. So it's kind of useful for that. Honestly, I do end up using that, so that's why I can say that's why you might use it. But otherwise, it is kind of uncommon to need to send your courier to put the items in your own stash. Next, speed burst and shield. These are kind of self-explanatory. The speed boost, speed boost, whatever, makes your courier move pretty fast for a little bit, helps you to bring items to you, or maybe it's about to get killed, speed burst away. And then the shield will make it invulnerable. So if you see the enemy trying to kill it real quick, you can make it invulnerable and hopefully get away. Otherwise, it's going to die afterwards. Oops. I recommend having the shield on something you can press quickly because, I mean, by the time you need to shield, it's going to be like, oh, I got to save it right now. So you better be able to press it quickly. The thing is, you don't unlock shield until level 25. So most games you'll get to speed burst. It doesn't need to be a critical hotkey though, because a lot of people just use it to bring them items faster and not really to like dodge anything life-threatening. So if it's a little awkward to press, it's okay. But the shield is pretty critical, and especially if you're a core player who gets to farm and gets items, oh, look at you, then you probably need the shield button a little more, and you might even bind it in advanced hotkeys here so that you don't have to select your courier and press 4, for example. Maybe you bind it to... Yeah, you could still bind it to 4 like this, and you would press 4, and it would use the courier shield. As a support, I never get to 25. It's very rare for me to ever get to 25, which means I don't really need to have these bound, in my opinion. I just select the courier and use it from here if I ever get to those levels. And that's about it for these commands. I usually use a mix of these plus this hotkey here, Alt. Alt 5 for me. But whatever you want to send it to, I use a mix of those. So now let's talk about shift queuing him around and having him do different things. There are many different things you could have him do, so this isn't meant to be all-encompassing, but it'll give you a couple ideas of like what you can use these shift queue commands for. So for example, I want him to bring me an item right now. It doesn't matter. So he's bringing me raindrops, and then I don't want to put a ward on the high ground. I want to put it on the low ground. and he's going to be coming here, but I want to go do other things, maybe stack a camp. So I can shift-click him over there. And that way, when he brings me my items, and I've stacked or whatever, he's going to walk over there on his own. I can go do things. I can press 5, and I can see there's no ward, and then I press Q to send him home. Now, odds are I'd probably stay in the area to see if he is... Like, if I find a ward, I have to go de-ward it. So I'd probably stay in the area. But still, say you're in the middle of stacking. You check real quick. Oh, no ward. Okay, I'll just send him home. I do my stack. I continue with my life. Now, another way you may want to use the Shift Q commands. Let's say I'm Treant Protector. And let's bring myself over here. This is pretty normal. If you're a Treant, you're playing way back here, creep cutting, this tower probably dead, maybe not. And then I need some stuff. I buy my wards, whatever, and the Courier comes on the way, speed burst, whatever. Notice what's going to happen. Now, up to here, he's probably safe. This is my own jungle. But as he approaches the river and through the enemy lane, there's a chance my Courier might die. So what you can do instead of just pressing this button and having him come straight to you in a straight line, select your Courier, and, a safer path would be like something like this. Along the edges of the map are very safe because there's a lot of trees. So let's say I'm the Treant Protector. I notice, my Courier would fly directly into the enemy lane. Let me click down here and then Shift. I'm going to use this button, Shift Alt 5, and what that's going to do, this Courier is going to run into the tree line, and then he's going to come to me through the trees. A little at the edge, to be honest, so maybe I could have clicked him a little closer. So bring me my items. Oh, shield, quick! There you go, hotkeys. Once he brings you your items, you do have to be careful, because he can just run straight back, and that could be bad for many reasons. It could get him killed, could reveal the fact that you're here. Maybe they don't see him delivering items in the trees, but they don't know you're here. But once this Courier walks out like this, they're going to be like, what was that Courier doing? So another thing you can do is that as he is coming to you, delivering your items, so like Alt 5 here, then Shift-click back here, and then Shift-click Q. So now after delivering me my items in these trees, he walks straight down, back to this tree line over here, and then I shift-clicked Q, and now he's going to walk home, and this will be pretty safe for him, this path like that. This, I'm kind of slowing it down to show you, it can be really, how fast it can be, but here, that's all it took me, 1 second, and that's why I say, it's hard to tell when pros are doing this, because I select the Courier, I click down here, I shift-click Q, and then I'm already back to my own hero. And then, yep, he gets to a spot, runs home, things like that. Another common case is when you're using the Courier to buy things in the secret shop, and then you just, you finish your arcane boost, whatever, and you have it come over to you. And you'll notice the Courier's walking in a straight line through the enemy side, and there's a good chance your Courier will get killed. Again, this is another chance to use those Shift-Q commands. Balance the risk plus time, because obviously I don't want to take years to get to me, but I don't want it to die either. So if you want it to be super safe, you could have it go straight to this edge of the trees, run all the way down, run all the way like this, run back here. That would be the longest path it could take, but the safest for sure. But there's probably no real need for that. I can probably just click here and then say, bring me my items. And what he's going to do, he's going to walk to here where I clicked, and then I shift-queued this deliver item command, and he's going to come straight to me, and it's going to adjust based on where I walked. Now, in case you're thinking about diving, you may not want to do that. You may want to, send him here, here, and then bring items. And then what he'll do, he'll walk this way, and then come to you straight down this line, or maybe you'll even have him wait over here before doing that. What is he doing? Where are you going, buddy? There you go. Now he's going to come here, here, here. Very safe. Not going to let your Courier die. It's a huge pain. And then once you have your items, I want to send him home safely. Down here, shift-click Q. Very quick, very easy. Now he's going to take a very safe path. Maybe there's been a bounty hunter looking for Couriers. A Nature's Prophet. God, you remember when that was popular? Nature's Prophet just killing all the Couriers? Now, all these examples use flying Couriers, and most of the game you have a flying Courier, so you can do all this stuff. Arguably, this is even more important when you have a slow walking Courier, especially if you're buying something from the side shop. The walking Courier is restricted to pathing, so there's very likely he ends up running through river, stuff like that. For sure, if he's walking, you want to shift-click him back home or something, and then come to you. So, I recommend trying these out. You don't even have to practice this per se. You can practice a little bit, such as like, oh, I want him to bring me items and I want him to move along the tree line. So click, click, and then whatever you want. You can, so if you want to use transfer items instead of this command, it would be like click, click, and then shift 3. All of these were shifted, by the way. So shift right here, shift 3. Now he's going to move along here and then bring the items to me. And maybe I want to meet him along the way, and now I just override all of that. 3, there we go, and now he's going to go home. I really recommend you familiarize yourself with these hotkeys and get used to trying to shift queue him around. It probably isn't going to win you a game. It'll probably just help with your general efficiency. Maybe you help avoid a couple courier deaths. But sometimes that can affect the game. Like if you lose a key item because your courier took a bad path, that's pretty bad. So it is generally good to do, in my opinion. And it's hard to see like the pros do it, but they do it as well. All this stuff, they don't waste time like Courier and all that. Like using their button to like press all these. They just use all the hotkeys. Oh, I want to send him home. Oh, I want him to go to the secret shop first. Oh, I want him to go like here and here and all this stuff. I want to like shift all these commands so he's like wah, 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 whatever. Or another one, it's like, oh, I want him to come here, and then I want him to like patrol this area to see if Roshan's there, and then I can just press like 5. Oops. Patrol this area, and then you can like click and see like, oh yeah, Roshan's alive. Let's go do it. And then, oh, okay, he did his purpose. Let's send him home. 5Q, and he goes home, or whatever you have it bound to. You know what I mean. For me, it's 5 and then Q. Okay, that's it for this video. I hope that was helpful. Again, you don't really need to practice it, but I think it is good to do. Just try to make yourself use it in games. It may slow you down to start, but then you'll get used to it, and then it'll be pretty fast. Okay, bye guys.